The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone and welcome to the iSpring Solutions webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today as we're going to speak about iSpring Learn LMS and how to set it up. My name is Polina, I'm a community manager and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. And as a speaker, I have invited Max Ionian, our customer care manager. Hi Max, how are you doing today?
Hi, Polina. Doing good. Thanks for asking. Hi, everybody.
Awesome, glad to hear that. So Max will be the presenter for you guys today. And as always, at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to submit them in the question box, and you may find it on the right side of your GoToWebinar panel. And in order to keep your questions going, I have invited Yujin. Hi Eugene, how are you doing today?
Hi, Polina. I'm fine, thanks. Hi, everyone.
So Eugene will be taking care of your question, guys, during Max's presentation. So you don't need to stop and hesitate. Just let your questions come in and we will take care of them. And of course, after Max's webinar, at the end, we will have a Q&A session. And before we move on to the actual webinar, let me just make a very quick announcement. I just wanted to share with you guys that we were awarded as the best support of 2017 by Capterra.com. This is the website where people are looking for different kinds of software, and iSpring is listed there as well. So I would like to thank all of you for sending your testimonials and reviewing iSpring Learn there. Thank you very much for doing that. We really appreciate it. Okay, so no more talk from me. Max, I'm ready to pass the presenter rights over to you.
Thank you so much, Polina. So I think you can pass the screen a bit later. Oh, thank you.
Actually, already did. Sorry about that.
All good. I'm showing the screen.
Yeah, I can see
Can
it.
you see my screen well?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And I hope that everybody can hear me well too. So I think that what you will see today on the screen will be more productive and more interesting than my face. So I will go ahead and turn off the webcam. And so, yeah, hi everybody. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really happy to see all of you on the webinar. There are quite a lot of us. We have 64 attendees. And I know that some of you are regular attendees of iSpring webinars. That's awesome. And I know that there are also new people. So let me introduce myself really quickly. My name is Max, and I'm here to make sure that you have no questions left by the end of this webinar. And even if I fail to do that, be sure that we will be right back to you with the answer after the webinar. So to achieve that, first, I will do my best to show you our learning management system thoroughly enough to answer all of your questions. And we will also have Yujin and Polina answering your questions in the chat box. Please make sure to write them. And so, yeah, we got a lot of helpful feedback from iSpring Suite recent webinars and decided to try holding iSpring Learn demo in a bit different way as well. So we decided to make it more transparent, pragmatic, and engaging for you as our viewers today. And rather than showing something existing, I will be also starting from scratch and setting up the account from A to Z today with you. I know that Polina already mentioned that, but just a quick reminder. So first, if you have a question, just shoot it into the question box. We will do our best to answer it right there or cover it during Q&A session. Second, if there is any feedback, comment, clarification you want to get, or even if you want to simply set a call with us, also use the question box. What you write there doesn't have to be an actual question. And I wish to speak with you, but we will have to use the box at least for the webinar in the interest of time. And third, if you see the poll, please participate. Today we will have quite a lot of them, and that will help us a lot. So we really appreciate your input. And Polina, as usually, just let me know if I get too boring. I hope you won't have to, though.
I sure will, though.
Thank you, Polina. So yeah, let's start traditionally. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you expect from today's webinar? I would really appreciate if you take a look at the poll we have. So please take your time to answer that. If your answer doesn't fit to anything we wrote here, please go ahead and let us know that through question box.
Yeah, and we do see the votes coming in. So thank you very much, guys, for participating. We would really appreciate if you take a moment to vote and let us know what do you expect from this webinar. And so far, it looks like half of our attendees already have iSpring Learn and they would like to get an overview of the features. And 35% need an LMS and want to see if iSpring Learn can fit their needs. And 20% want just to find out whether or not they even need an LMS.
Thank you so much, Polina. Let me share the poll results with our audience. And yeah, looks like we have a lot of existing customers and also a lot of people who need to find LMS for their needs. Thank you so much for answering that. And I will do my best to make this webinar helpful to all of you, but I understand that's different for different cases and purposes. So everybody, please, if you need a more personal touch, we are always happy to jump on a call, set a personal meeting to discuss your particular needs. So just let us know that. We would be happy to see what's the best way to get together on this. And what's the plan for today? Today we will start with some theory. I know that most of you already know what is LMS and are familiar with that. So it won't take a long time. And then we will jump into actual setting up of the account from scratch. And I hope that today you will see what the LMS can do and ask all of your questions. So first, what is an LMS? LMS stands for the Learning Management System, and it is the software for the administration, documentation, tracking, reporting, and delivery of educational courses or training programs. Thanks, Wikipedia. So it is the platform, in other words, which allow you to deliver your training materials effectively to the learners and let them study without being bound to particular time and place. At the same time, as the administrator, you can actually track the results of these studies automatically through the flexible report system. Do you even need one? And we have 20% of our attendees voting this way. So that's a good question. And let's run a quick poll which helps us to identify whether you need to have an LMS or not. So we will make it a bit shorter. And those who already use iSpring, please take part as well. It will be interesting for us to know how many people do you need to train on average monthly.
And Max, can you tell in your perspective what's iSpring Learn perfect for? Like how many people do you think?
Well, it will depend. I would say that anything which starts from 50 is really sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And I will definitely explain that. But even if you need to monthly train small groups, like 25 users, that would still work with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So although we don't have this plan available on the website, you're always welcome to get in touch with us. Let's
Great.
share the poll results.
Yeah, because
Thank
it
you
looks
so much,
like
everybody.
I'm sorry, but it looks like half of people actually need that information.
Yeah, and we will be definitely happy to share this information. So for those who need to train about 20 people or less, The LMS can do the job great, especially if you have a lot of materials to deliver. 50 people can still be managed offline or without that thorough reporting system. But do you actually want to spend a good deal of your working hours to do that every single month? So I would say that LMS is perfect anywhere from 50 and further. But even if you have smaller number of users but a lot of content to deliver, or it is a strict certification training where you need to know exactly every single movement of your learner, that would still work perfectly. And a good learning management system is a must-have system in case you feel like you need to optimize the learning process for you as a training administrator, for your company as a business, and for your learners as, we all are learners at some cases, and we all are alive human beings who love pragmatism and simplicity. If somebody would try to make me study in very inconvenient LMS or just very inconvenient circumstances, I'm sure that effectiveness will be lacking compared to great circumstances and great working system. So now when we know a bit more about your audience, I have one literally last question before we move forward to LMS itself. How do you train? So what is the way you train people and what do you need an LMS for? And I really appreciate that you're taking part so actively. So it is onboarding training, general or compliance training, certification training, selling courses to people. And if there is other option, I know that I couldn't have listed everything, just write it in the question box. We would appreciate that.
Max?
Yeah.
And while people are taking their vote, there's a quick question from Paula. What if you have more than 50 students to register on the LMS?
Paula, today we will go through registering people. And so LMS capabilities in terms of hosting people are limitless. So you can have as many learners as you need to, even if they are not taking part in training. I will for sure go for that. That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Looks like this poll is most popular and 87% of people voted. Thank you so much, everybody. So we see that mostly people do general or compliance training, and there are also 26% who sell courses to people. So I better stop at e-commerce. Okay, let's hide that. Great. Thank you so much once again. And now, since I know your training objectives much better, that would be easier for me to hold this webinar. All of the mentioned training types can be easily implemented and run within iSpring Learning Management System. It doesn't matter that much if you need to do onboarding in a large corporation or you need to sell courses. The Learning Management System is here for you. And so I know a lot of cases from our existing customers where people actually mixed what they did. So for part of audience, they did general training. For the other part, they did onboarding. So all of that is absolutely feasible. And I think it's high time to jump to setting up the account itself. So to do that, I just need to go trial-4356.ispringlearn.com. This is the URL. I will also enter the login, the password, and hit where it says login. iSpring Learn is a cloud solution, and so iSpring Learn is hosted on our servers. Why clouds? Because we don't want you to spend money on buying and launching your own server, having a dedicated technical specialist to support it. Cloud is just cheaper and make more sense. That's what a lot of researchers show. And let iSpring be in charge of your account stability and files safety. Our engineers stay up for 26 hours every single day of the week to make sure that everything works great for you. We're in the accounts. It's most likely that most of you have already seen how iSpring Learn looks like. So this is the administrator dashboard. From the very beginning, we get an advice tab, getting started with iSpring Learn. And on our website, you can find a lot of useful tips, articles, and video tutorials. I feel like I'm pretty familiar, so I won't show this tab next time I log in. And let me close that. Administrator dashboard is something which makes admin's life so much more easy. What you see there is detailed statistics for every single course you have. So it is a good summary. And in case there is some content you need to evaluate, you will see that here as well. So from the dashboard, you can just go ahead and jump anywhere to content, to users, just wherever you need to jump really quickly. My account is almost empty because today we promised to make something special. And so that's why I decided to go from scratch. And I know that it is not something most important about your LMS, but obviously, if you have an ability to set your account name, I would do that first. And that's the way to start implementation of your e-learning, of your LMS within your organization. If you go to settings from the main tab, you will be able to set your custom account name. I must mention that for those who are still not our customers, this functionality, and that is literally only it won't be accessible till the moment you purchase the full access. Here you can set the account name, how to quickly launch your LMS, and we can name it like iSpring LMS.iSpringLearn.com. The name can be any, and so account URLs are available for you free of charge if they are based on iSpringLearn.com domain name. If you have your own domain, and I'm sure that a lot of you do, it is possible to go ahead and set domain alias. Let me log in back to the account. So now it's iSpringLMS.iSpringLearn.com. I go to settings again, and here at the domain alias, you can set up your name. So for example, our website is iSolutions.com. And so just imagine your own website here in this example. And I want my LMS account to launch when I go to lms.iSpringSolutions.com. If you create this link on your own server and if you add this information to your iSpring Learn LMS, it will automatically create redirects from your website, and that lets you set up your learning management system in the way that all of your learners, all of your employees will feel like it is your own product. So they don't go to iSpring Learn, what's that? They go to your website, and that definitely raises up the level of trust into your company. And it is simply easier for your learners to remember. Here we also have huge branding possibilities, and I'm sure that in case you need to launch the system from scratch, it will be very useful. So I will go ahead and select color scheme. In case I need to do custom one, that is possible as well. You can literally choose the color for every single menu option. And it is also possible to select what happens if you hover or select the certain menu item. And if you want to, you can also change account logo and favorite icon. By default, it is all about iSpring. You have our logo here, but we don't make you keep that. For our today's example, for our today's webinar, I think that should work pretty well. We are done with setting up the color scheme, with setting up our special URL, and we are ready to invite people. No LMS makes sense if there are no people here. So I will go ahead and add new users. right into our account. And there are several ways you can do that. When you hit Add New User from People tab, it is possible to invite people in one-by-one manner. So here, if you have a list of the email addresses, you will be able to invite your colleagues, invite your friends, or invite your target audience if you sell the courses, so that they can take the course within your system. When you already know the list of those who will study in your LMS, it makes sense to use the template, which just makes it so much easier procedure. And you can go ahead and download the template from our website, right from iSpring Learn. So let me open this sample template. This is absolutely empty file. And to save our time today, I prepared this small template for our today's webinar. So here I set up the logins, emails, first and last name of my colleagues who were really helpful and agreed to assist us on today's webinar. I also set the role of Yujin as administrator, and I have to do only a few minor adjustments to this file to make it work for our learning management system. Let me switch back to the LMS account. Here I will create new organization. To do that, I just need to hit Add New Organization. I will name it as iSpring. And organizations, as well as groups, help you manage the way you assign the courses. So if you have a group of people within particular organization, it is possible for you to assign the content to them in a couple of clicks. I will also create a group that is some of guys from my templates are from sales and also support. So now we have two groups, we have a new organization, and we need to show those changes within the template. Template just makes it so much easier. So that's why I always suggest using that. We'll go for sales. Thanks, Axel. It is relatively quick process. Here we will list support. And for organization, I will go ahead and list iSpring. Now let's save this file. I will go ahead and put it somewhere to desktop just to make it easier. And we are ready to actually import users.
So Max, is that correct that you're using the XLX file, or should it be the CSV one?
You can use any file which is more convenient for you. So if you use Excel, it might be easier to go for XLX, but CSV will work as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So in case you decided to import from file, and from our experience, that is mostly used scenario for small to medium businesses, just choose the file. We'll go ahead and select one. Generate a random password for each new user if the password is not specified. I didn't specify that, and I feel that it is very convenient to invite people and actually send them the passwords. And it is also possible to edit the invitation message. So mine will look like Polina Flores invites you to join how to quickly launch your LMS. Sorry if it's confusing. I just borrowed the account from my colleague, so that's why Polina is mentioned here as account owner. We can keep it like that though. So I hit where it says add users, and the magic begins. We see that the total of 10 users was uploaded in a file. 9 users were imported and 1 user was updated. There were no mistakes, so we can hit done. Right now we have new users added, And as you can see, their organization and group were correctly picked up from the templates I used. Now, let me go to Yujin's file. By the way, you can search your users, especially when there are a lot of users in your accounts, by using our search bar. So here we see Yujin Grants. And if we go to his user profile, we will see that login is Yujin, role is user, email, first name and last name. What is really cool about iSpring Learn, if you need to have more information here, you can use custom profile fields. I would be okay with just having first name and last name. I can go ahead and fill in the country and save it. But what I wanted to share with you is the user role. iSpring Learn allows you to assign different roles to your users. First one is user, sorry for tautology, and this role allows people to view the content assigned to them. So they see the content, they can take the courses, that is it. There is nothing else they can do. It is also possible to have publisher, and publishers can also upload and manage the content and as well view the reports right within your account. You can add organization administrator, and this would be the one who can do everything right within his organization. He can also manage users, delete them, add new people, and so on. And if you need to have somebody who will have the fullest access to the account, except the billing page and ability to freeze the accounts, that would be administrator. Why do you need that? With different user roles, it is possible to make sure that your training administrators have to manage your LMS accounts. At the same time, if somebody is not supposed to do some measure changes, you will be sure that your account is safe and there is nothing somebody can do to that. In the user profile, you can also see the group membership. You can see additional permissions. And so in additional permissions, it will be possible for regular user to run report for specified organization or group. The good example will be the supervisor who needs to know his employees' results, but who doesn't do anything within LMS. So let's say you're the training administrator, you need to run training for your company. And so we all know that there are people who need to track their employees' results. So while you're responsible for e-learning within whole organization, that option will let you give some rights to those who pay the salary to your learners and will let them see the results promptly. At this step, you will be also able to see the courses assigned to the learner and see the achievements the learner received while working within the LMS. So this is all People tab is about. I would recommend that you use just a regular add by email in case you have 1 or 2 people to add. But in case there are more people you need to add to your accounts, please use templates. For those who seek for advanced capabilities, it is also possible to set up a single sign-on. This way, your users will be picked up from your existing database, or you can manage learners through API. So through REST API and SOAP API, it will be possible to do mass import and basically mass export of the users from or to your LMS accounts. Now, when we have people, it's a high time to make sure that they have something to do. And so to me, there have always been 2 most important things in the LMS. One is people and users, because that's what LMS does. It provides training for users. And second is content, because if you don't have a good content to deliver, no matter how good the system is, it just doesn't make sense. I had some sample courses uploaded to the account just to save our time today. Here is one of them. And so when you need to put the content to your LMS, you typically have 2 ways to do that. Many of you are familiar with iSpring Suite. For those who are not, let me just quickly switch to iSpring Suite's authoring tool, the one you can use to publish your courses directly to the LMS. By the way, this is the course we created together on our previous webinar. And when you would need to publish your course to iSpring Learn LMS, all you need to do is just to go ahead and type in the URL. In our case, it would be iSpring LMS, iSpringLearn.com. Your URL must be different. You also need to type in the login or the email of the administrator and use the password. As soon as you sign into your account, you're ready to publish the content right from your iSpring authoring tool to your iSpring LMS. Let's import just one sample slide. While it processes our sample slide, I will show what other way you can use. Another way is add course through web interface. So it's possible to hit add course under the content tab. And if you do that, it will be possible for you to choose the file from your hard disk drive. You can use SCORM packages, Flash video, or MP4 video, MP3 audio, SWIFT, or some reference documents like PDF, Doc, Excel, or PowerPoint, and you just need to choose them right here from your hard disk drive. Let me upload the template. So it is as easy as ABC. At the same time, we already have the course uploaded from the authoring tool. We typically advocate for using iSpring authoring tools with our LMS, and in case you have or plan to use iSpring directly from the tool to learning management system, that also works great for compliance, and you will have much better reporting if you publish your content this way. But if you have pre-created course or if you need to add some file, web interface would work best for that. Two more opportunities are links and assignments. So you can type in the title of your URL and the link itself and add it to your account. And you can also create the assignments, like give us feedback, type it in, and set the passing score. Let's say it will be 70%. And after you create this assignment, it will be the course which people need to take and which will have custom grades. So unless real administrator takes a look at that and see what is the results and basically gives the grade to the learner, there will be no results available. To show you reporting today, I decided to assign the course to my colleagues. So let's invite them really quick. And to do that, we will choose our course from the content list, go to Invites tab, choose iSpring organization. I will choose just all users in this organization and send the invitation. I will also add an ability for them to log on using the link from this message. So I'm sending the invitation, and let's give them some time so that they can go ahead and finish the course. As you can see, Permissions tab picked up the settings automatically, and after it did, you can see the organization and groups assigned for this course. We will go through the settings of the content a little bit later. I think it makes more sense to do that through learning paths. Polina, were there any questions you think it's easier to address right now, or how does that go? I cannot see the chat box.
Just allow me one moment, please.
Sure.
Yeah, so there was one question from Kevin Baker. If I have content that is shared across organizations, can a publisher delete content that would affect other organizations?
For publisher, there won't be such a possibility, I think. So, yeah, I think it would be required to have higher level of rights. But that's a very good question because we plan to improve user roles in the future updates, and they will provide you with even more abilities to control users within your accounts. So as far as I know, we will have, at least we have it on the roadmap. We'll have the capability of locking content from anybody but the organization administrator and so on. And right now, the content is accessible to everybody with enough roots on their accounts.
And Max, can you please repeat just really quickly for Kimberly? She says, where was the invite screen again? How do you invite someone to take the course you have created?
Sure, and sorry that I was rushing. So we have a course. In our case, it will be how to make the perfect omelet. And once you left click on this course, there will be invite button. So it is the tab in the settings. And here you can choose the organization. You can choose whether all users from the organization or just some groups should take the course. And after you do that, you just send invitations and people get them through email.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's proceed with the learning paths. And learning paths will have pretty much duplicated functionality like the content settings do, but they will be a bit more complicated because learning paths allow you more complex approach to training people. Some of you have already experimented with learning paths. For those who didn't have a chance to do that yet, I decided to add a new one. So let's call it test. And learning path, invite somebody to take the course and at the same time provide him not only with one content item, but with several of them. So for example, if you have course with a quiz, some video recordings, some other course, and all of that stands as a single training program which was created from several pieces, that would be perfect way to present this information. So after we create the learning path, we typically need to set the details. My learning path will take about 1 hour to complete. I will keep the same author and I will keep the link to the course. By the way, this is good to mention that some of your courses can be with self-registration links. If you allow self-registration to your account, it will be possible for you to invite people by sending them the link, and then they can just register right into your account. The most interesting part, and basically the biggest difference between learning path and typical course, is outline. Here you can create some chapters and make your course really structurized. I won't be very original, so it will be chapter 1. And into chapter 1, I will add our how to make perfect omelets. Well, let me actually delete this one. So yeah, I will add e-learning cookbook, give us feedback, and I will add copy of template webinar. So we have 3 materials assigned within one course. If I add chapter 2, I would be able to add some more materials to this chapter. So let me add fast motors and maybe iSpring Suite demo. And that is the way it looks like on the learner's side. So the learner will see the learning path, its name, its description, if specified, and the outline. Here it will be 1, and you will also see the courses. And it will be also chapter number 2. You will also see the courses. If the learner has already tried or started some content you set, he will see that it is in progress. So all of the statuses are refreshed online, and you don't need to monitor them every single time. After you set up the outline, it makes sense to do some settings. So for Learning Path, it's possible to enable auto-numbering of chapters. Just makes difference when you take a look at the outline after that. And especially for huge courses, that makes it so much more structurized. And it is also possible to set the due date. And this is something we recently implemented. So if earlier you could have only set the due date for the whole course, for the whole learning path, right now it's possible to manage that in a more flexible manner. So if we go ahead and set due dates for each chapter, you can go ahead and adjust the number of dates available for each new chapter. And it's even possible to make them very custom. So for chapter 1, you can set, let's say, 3 days. And for chapter 2, let's give it another 3 days. So you can see now that chapter 1 deadline is approaching on December 22nd, and chapter 2 deadline will reach us on Christmas Day. It is also possible to set the completion order, and if you want the learners to proceed in one-by-one manner, set the sequential manner. They won't be able to anyhow jump out of the order, and they will need to go chapter 1, then chapter 2, and so on. As completion condition, you will also need to specify it the way you want. So if you want your training program to be completed only after people completed all chapters, use this setting. If there is only one particularly important chapter they need to take, use specified chapter and set the completion dependent on chapter 2. This way, it will be possible to set what chapters are more and what chapters are possible for you to add some extra chapters which are not important overall if we take a look at the whole scale of your learning path, but which can be taken by learners upon their willing. If you need to issue certificates, and so I remember that some of our attendees do certification training, just go ahead and set up the template. You can do that for learning paths. You can do that for any course. And so I hope that it is clear enough that all of the learning paths are having exactly same capabilities as your single standalone courses, except for due dates. And this is the sample of how your certificate may look like. So it will have the name, it will have the name of the course the learner was taken, and it will have the date. Just a sample, you can add any custom fields, so the way the final certificate will look like depends solely on you and on your e-learning needs. And if you sell the courses, and like quarter of us sell the courses, it is possible to set the price for this learning path by enabling e-commerce. So if you do that, it won't be possible to take the course until you pay for the training. And when you do that, all of the money will automatically go to either your PayPal or AuthorizeNet accounts, and you can easily link them within the settings of your iSpring Learn LMS as additional options. So we have e-commerce turned on. There is merchant account ID. Of course, you need to do some adjustments to your PayPal account as well. But all of that is described in a really thorough article, which you can take a look at. And yeah, if any questions will come up when you will try to adjust that, just let us know. So we set the price, we set the certificates, and so we are ready to move to further tabs. You can notify admins when user completes the whole learning path. You can see who should be assign to the learning path after you invite people or set that in permissions, you can see all of the comments left for your learning path or left for your e-learning course. And if there are some results already, you will also see the reports in this tab. I think that it makes sense to cover the reports a bit later. As all of you remember, we have 8 people assigned to how to make the perfect omelet course, and we will be able to go for that.
And Max, I just want to let you know that we have 10 more minutes so that you can kind of wrap up your presentation so that we have some time for Q&A.
Yeah, and we don't have much time left, but thank you so much, Polina. So the whole concept of setting up that there is no time required to do that. If you have the content and if you have the user list, that would be more than enough to start your training. And after that, when you have your content, when you have your learning paths created, you can just invite people in a couple of clicks. All of their results will be immediately available in the reports section. And reports section is something we're particularly proud of. So here you can get the reports on the content results, on people activities. If you sold your courses, it will be possible to get e-commerce reports. So let's just go ahead and try to check that out. So first, let's check the group activity. And we can go ahead and check that in sales. So right here, we can see the user, the content, what is their progress, what is their score. And we can see that while Yujin tried the course twice, Oksana and Irina also have that in progress. And all of that goes immediately, so you don't need to wait, you don't need to spend your time manually counting and analyzing your learners' results. So let's go for answer breakdown. And we'll start from, we'll choose all organizations and the right activity. Here you can see the answer breakdown of your users' results. So it is possible to see how many people chose Austria as answer, how many people chose France, and that helps you analyze all of the answers you got from your learners. So basically, if everybody is hitting something wrong, that makes sense to check if the wording of question is correct, and that makes sense to probably review the quiz and the way you build that. And this is the great way to receive statistics on all of the answer options in your quiz. What you can also do is add some detail that will be more personal report. So if we go ahead and look for, let's say, Irina, you will see her results in detailed scope. So this was the quiz. You see that by group, she was best in history and cheese and not that good in recipes. And you can see her exact answers. That's what makes it beautiful in iSpring Learn. It takes no time to track all of the results and do it in a very, very complete manner. You know, 1 hour won't be enough to go through every single report, even on personal webinars. So those who already have an account with us, I'm sure you have experience in this tab and you shouldn't have any problems using this tab. And those who just plan to start using iSpring Learn, please stop by there. Please take a look at what it makes, what reporting capabilities you have, and how that can fit to your particular learning needs. We have just a few things left. I will try to cut it up and make it even shorter. With iSpring Learn, it is possible to set some additional options. So if you need optional content, you can use the catalog. And the catalog, let's just save it and preview that. The catalog will be just an extra tab in your learner's user portal, so they will be able to choose what course to take and what not to take. If you want to increase the retention rate, you can try to use gamification. Just go ahead, motivate and engage your learners with levels, badges, and points. Your learners can get different number of points for every single completed course, different number of points for particular simulations, quizzes, and they can also compete for different badges you create for them, set in the custom rules, add in your custom images. And so this way they will all be listed in a leaderboard, and you will be able to see the competition among them. If they leave the comments, you will see that in discussions tab immediately. I see that my colleagues haven't been discussing the courses yet, but if they would, it will be easy for me to manage that. And extra, I would say like bonus points here is events. This is our relatively new feature. And with events, you can handle webinars and trainings right within your iSpring Learn account. So if I need to set a webinar, I can just create it right within my iSpring Learn account and invite people from my account to take a part in this particular webinar. Then I would be also able to see who was there and who decided to miss this meeting. And same works with trainings. So we all know that sometimes it's impossible to stay away from face-to-face training at all. And so if you have the case where you need to as well meet in person, that would be a good way to invite people who are already listed within your LMS account. Just create training, set the event name, and invite people to take part there. They will also receive reminders when the time approaches. So I hope that today you've seen that setting an account from scratch, inviting people and getting the first results, and we basically did that. So when we were starting, there were no results. Now we see that there are so much more active users, and it is possible for us to analyze. It doesn't take a long time to set up, and it is not that scary to launch online training. And I think it's high time to open Q&A session. I would be happy to answer all of your questions, and if you still have them left and want to discuss something personally, just let us know. We would be happy to set a call or personal online meeting. So thank you so much for your time and attention.
And maybe, Max, this is the time for our last poll. What do you think?
I think so.
All right, so at this point, Max is done with his presentation, and we're ready for your question, guys, because this is the time for our Q&A, and I think we will spend about 10 minutes because Yujin has been very helpful during the webinar with answering the questions that come in. So at this point, we would like to ask you to let us know what you're up to. If you would like to get more info about the pricing for iSpring Learn, or you would like to schedule a call to discuss your case in more details, we will be also very happy to help you in that. And also, maybe it looks like iSpring Learn just not a great or not a perfect solution for your needs. And if you choose the third option, we would very much appreciate if you could share with us why you don't see iSpring Learn as a solution to your case, because we would very much like to improve our system so that it fits our users much better. So your comments in this case will be very much appreciated. What do you think, Max?
Polina, I think that it is a perfect plan. And so, yeah, I also appreciate that people take part in today's polls really actively. What I can mention is that every time you launch e-learning, I don't think there are absolutely same cases. So even if we have two HR companies who need to constantly hire new stuff for other companies and they train people to do that, it won't be the same way they launch e-learning. So the common webinar is here to show you the way you can work with the system. And if you didn't see something for your needs, there is a chance that we just didn't go through that really thoroughly. So yes, if you chose the third option, please let us know what seems to be wrong.
Yeah, thank you very much. And let's keep the poll hanging for another moment. And while it's up there, let me ask you a question, Max. What sort of organizations would typically need this application, meaning iSpring Learn LMS? Would it be useful for organizations who sell courses and for organizations such as the pharma industry? What do you think?
I think that it would be useful for both organizations who sell courses and organization in pharma industry. So the thing is that iSpring Learn, like LMSs today, it is not really industry bound. So it doesn't matter from what industry you are. It matters if you want to make training processes within your company more convenient for the administrators and at the same time more convenient for the users. So if you feel like you're up to delivering the content in a couple of clicks, letting people study from any device and seeing all of their results. And as you've noticed today, it's possible to see every particular answer of the students. Then it doesn't matter from what industry you are. And if you need to sell courses, iSpring Learn works perfectly for that. It has e-commerce module built in. We don't take any cuts, and you can basically make millions of dollars right within our accounts, which will go directly to your PayPal. So my answer would be yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we got a comment from Jeff. He says, I'm in the pharma industry and use it for training my technical team on different medical domains. But Jeff, do you mean your current LMS or iSpring Learn LMS? This is my question. All right, and I would like to mention that I will be sending the recording of this webinar to all of our attendees and also the ones who registered for the webinar. So guys, don't worry, you will receive a copy of the recording. And also, if you would like to watch our previous webinar, you're welcome to go to our website and we have a dedicated webinar section. I will be sharing a link to it in the chat box right now. So if you go there, you will see all our webinars that were previously held. And if you have any webinar ideas, you're more than happy to share them with us. And we will, because we are thinking about our program for the next year. Okay, so yeah, and Max, another tricky question for you. What makes iSpring better than Moodle LMS, and is there anything that does?
Well, that's a really tricky and really good question. So Moodle is a very famous solution on the LMS markets, and what makes it different is that typically it's open source, it may be free. I'm not sure if you would ever find a good and stable cloud Moodle where engineers make sure that everything works great for you. So like any open source system, which has a lot of additional modules, it doesn't always work perfectly. And what we try to do is to provide easy to use and stable products, which will have very wide and flexible reporting capabilities, which will have outstanding, and Polina, thank you for mentioning it in the beginning of our today's meeting, which will have outstanding technical support team. So while both of those are LMSs, if I were to launch my online training, I would go for iSpring just because I want to have something stable with rich functionality and with better compatibility, with better opportunities of keeping track on what my users do. But once again, there are thousands of learning management systems, and so I'm not trying to say that iSpring is your only solution.
Sure, it's not. There are different LMSs that may fit people's cases in a different way. And speaking about Moodle, we just held a webinar on how Moodle and iSpring work together, and we had our partner from Germany, Guido, show how you can upload course created with iSpring to Moodle LMS and how it will work within the system. So if you would like to watch it, you're welcome to go to our website and using the link that I shared in the chat section, and you will find this webinar there. And another question is the pricing license based? I'm not sure if this refers to iSpring LMS or iSpring Suite authoring tool.
I would be happy to talk you through both pricing models. So iSpring authoring tool is license-based, and so depending on number of users, you will need different number of licenses that will cost more in total, but it will cost less in terms of price per license. And if we speak about iSpring Learn LMS, we allow really huge flexibility here. So let's say you can start with 50 people, and at the time when you would need more, you can just upgrade your account to 100 or to 200 people. So iSpring LMS allows you to keep as many users as you want. You can have thousands of users created, and we won't charge you a single penny for that. But at the same time, we will charge you for the number of active users. So if you have 50 people constantly taking the courses within your LMS, it will be 50 people package. And to give you the idea about pricing, let me just switch to pricing tab. So it will be only about $3 per user per month. And as you can see here, the more active users you have, the less is per user per month price. So if you need to train 100 people every single month and hold this training throughout the whole year, there's plan model, and so it will be just $3,270 for a year, and it will also include 2 months free of charge. So that is the way the pricing in iSpring work, and we can go up to unlimited number of people, of course making it much cheaper for you as our customer when you go for larger plans.
Thank you very much, Max. And there's a question from Laurie. Is there a pricing structure for less than 50 users? And I know that you covered it at the beginning of the webinar. So, Laurie, is that okay if we get back to you after the webinar to tell you more about the pricing plans? Could you please let us know?
Yes, that would be the best way. So, Laurie, I hope it works well for you. And so the only step which we go lower than 50 is 25, and we do that only on custom agreement basis. And so, I also want to mention immediately that 25 active users accounts will be less costly in terms of total and more expensive in terms of price per user. So absolutely same concept.
Yeah, and Lori says, sure, thanks, so we'll get back to you. And another question is from Thomas. The stage agency that we train for sometimes requires us to verify the student identity online as they take the course. Is this something that you all have considered?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I got the question because connection just dropped off. Could you please say it again, Polina?
Sure. Yeah. So a question from Thomas. The state agency that we train for sometimes requires us to verify the student identity online as they take the course. Is this something that you all have considered? To identify the students'
Thank you, Polina. So yeah, basically the reason of people going for LMS is because in LMS, every user has his personal account. So the system identifies the user, and if you need to provide some proof or just have it somewhere for your records that it was the user called Max from iSpring, not somebody else who took all of the training, you'll be able to have this information. And what I particularly like about iSpring Learn is that all of the data there is kept no matter what. So even if you delete the user, you still have the history of his completion and basically his identity profile stored in archive.
Thank you very much, Max, and I hope, Thomas, that answers your question.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so basically people are saying that they enjoyed the training so far, and I would like to thank all of you attendees for coming today. And I think that so far we have got almost all the questions, and we're very short on time, so we really need to wrap up. And yeah, if you have anything that you would like to comment, Eugene, I would like to ask you to do that right now. Eugene, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
All right, so do you have any comments for our attendees today?
Thank you for the webinar. The questions were quite tricky, but nevertheless, I hope we can help you. And of course, you can contact us out this webinar and feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eugene, for your help during the webinar.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. And I would also like to say that in January, we're going to have a webinar series about iSpring Suite and iSpring Learn LMS. And we will have 4 webinars in total during the month of January. And we will start so we will just basically show you how to create different types of content with iSpring and then upload it to iSpring Learn LMS and basically launch the training program within your organization. So if you would like, I know that Max has been fantastic in covering this kind of topics during his webinars because the previous one he did was on iSpring Suite and this one is on iSpring Learn, but our webinar series will be more like workshops, so we will actually we will be showing you in more details how to do that. So I will be sending invitations. I will be start sending the invitations really soon. So guys, keep tuned. And if you would like to sign up to receive this kind of invitations, you can do so on the webinar section on our website, and you may find the link in the chat box. All right, so Max, would you like to say anything else to our audience today?
Sure. Thank you so much, everybody, for your attention. And it's great to meet you. You know, I'm meeting up with you for the last couple of months more often. Thanks to Polina for that. And Christmas is coming, so I hope that you already feel the holiday season and start to enjoy that. It is really great to see all of you basically right before the Christmas. As far as I know, we are not going to have webinars next week, do we, Polina?
I don't think so because it's the holiday season and I'm sure that people would like to enjoy their time with family and friends, which is awesome.
Yes, and I just hope that all of you who've been with us today or who is watching us on YouTube right now will enjoy this holiday season. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas and happy upcoming New Year. It's been a wonderful year and it would have been different without you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Max, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy holiday season, and we'll see you next year. All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.